Howdy folks, and welcome back to Mingles with Jingles, starting off this week with some gaming news. The latest newsletter from Elite Dangerous has just informed us that it's going into the final stage of the beta test tomorrow, the 29th of July. Now, before you all get too excited and think, oh my god, if it's going into the final stage of the beta, that means open release can only be a month or two away. There is also going to be what they're going to call a gamma test. Now, the gamma test is going to come once the beta is complete, and it's essentially just a thank you from the developers to the beta test participants, allowing you to actually get a head start on the game prior to open release. However, there is also some good news for those of you who do not have access to the beta test or the gamma test, but have pre-ordered the game. The cost of entry to the beta test is £50. However, if you've already pre-ordered the game, you get the cost of the game pre-order discounted from the price of access to the beta. So, if you've got the game pre-ordered, you can get into the beta test for just £15. So, while we're on the subject of game development, I recently received an invitation into the closed alpha of another game that you may have heard about. Oh, hell yes. I've been looking forward to this one coming out for a long time. And while I was pretty disappointed with World of Warplanes, World of Warships has got the potential to be a lot more like World of Tanks. That may be a good thing, it may be a bad thing, depending on your point of view. But what I mean is, well, in World of Tanks you've got 5 different classes of vehicle. You've got light tanks, medium tanks, heavy tanks, tank destroyers, and artillery. World of Warships, 4 different classes of ship. You've got destroyers and escorts, cruisers, battleships, and aircraft carriers. And they kind of roughly correspond to each other. Your light tanks are sort of the same as your destroyers and your escorts. Your cruisers, fast, heavily armed, not very well armoured, sort of the same as your medium tanks. Your battleships, obviously your heavy tanks. But then that's kind of where the comparison starts to break down, because you still have tank destroyers and artillery to account for, and in World of Warships all you have left are aircraft carriers. And aircraft carriers in World of Warships sort of fill the role of tank destroyers and artillery at the same time. They're your team's long-range support. But the good news for anybody who plays World of Tanks, despises artillery, and is thinking of playing World of Warships, is that unlike artillery in World of Tanks, you can defend yourself against an airstrike. In World of Warships, ships have anti-aircraft batteries. In fact, subships are likely to be specialised anti-aircraft defence units. Of course, this is all complete speculation. I haven't actually had hands-on of the game yet. But I do hear there's a good chance that they're likely to be unveiling World of Warships to the public at Gamescom in Cologne next month. And I'm going to Gamescom in Cologne next month. You'll recognise me. I'll be the one in the Imperial Stormtrooper armour. So hopefully I can get my first hands-on of World of Warships at Gamescom, and then actually get stuck into it when the closed alpha launches. Of course, bear in mind it is a closed alpha. That means there's a non-disclosure agreement, so I won't actually be able to show you anything or even talk about it here on Mingles with Jingles until the NDA has been lifted. I think I'm getting most excited about the idea of driving cruisers from what I've read about the way the game's going to work. Cruisers, fast, agile, lots and lots of big guns. No armour whatsoever. There's always going to be something to do in a cruiser, whether that's intercepting a rush from a squadron of destroyers providing anti-aircraft support for your big guns, or peppering the decks of battleships with high explosive shells to clear the deck of anything that isn't welded down. Oh, I'm getting excited about this game already. Let's hope it's good. In other news, I just wanted to take this quick opportunity to pimp out my Facebook page. I know a lot of you just don't like using Facebook, and that's absolutely fine, you know. Nobody's forcing you to do it. However, if I have a short notice announcement to make, say I'm joining a live stream with only a couple of hours notice, then just put an announcement up on Facebook is just so much easier and faster. And you know, there's 30,000 people follow the page at the moment, so it's probably the most effective way of getting short notice news announcements across. Certainly a lot easier than making a video up saying, oh, by the way guys, nope, too late. In the time it's taken me to do the video, the live stream has already started. So my Facebook page, it's there, the mighty Jingles. One of the other things that this thing is useful for, it's not just for me pushing out information for you guys and, you know, fun stuff and what have you, but you guys can also, and often do, share stuff with me as well on the Facebook page. And that's how this was brought to my attention. This is absolutely amazing. This is the mighty Jangles. Watch this. I'm not going to spoil the rest, right? It's only a 42-second long video. If you want to see the rest, trust me, it's worth it. But if you want to see the rest, you're going to have to go and watch it on YouTube. I'm certainly not going to steal views from this guy, but this is hilarious. He has his own Facebook page. The mighty Jangles. There he is. Look at this. I have my own impersonator now, and he's hilarious. Look at this stuff. Looking for a good time? You've come to the right place. It's full of stuff like this, including that video. And one that I've even shared on my own Facebook page. Where is it? Where is it? Look at this. 152mm BL10, because shooting twice is just silly. But no, this is the one. Jangles, what are you doing? Guten Tag. Jangles, you're not German. Fuck you, Gooby. It's just, who does this stuff? You know you made it when you've got your own badly drawn impersonation page. So yeah, we've been having fun on Facebook the last 2 days. Look at this, the page has only been up 2 days. It's already got 3,000 likes. That's fantastic. I wonder if it was inspired. I don't know if you've noticed, but my little dog, Boo, has been making comments on my YouTube videos. Apparently Boo has his own YouTube account. And then a couple of days after Boo suddenly starts making comments, this guy appears. I wonder if the two are related. I was on Rita Gamer's live stream a couple of days ago, and she's a big Star Trek Online fan as well, and mentioned that I've been lucky enough to get one of these things out of a lockbox. Super rare. It's a Xindi Aquatic Narcene Dreadnought, and it launches frigates. Up to 4 of them. Super rare ship. When you get one of these things, a system-wide message pops up and everybody who's playing can read it. I had multiple offers within seconds of this thing appearing from the lockbox. People offering 150 million energy credits to for me to sell it to them. Nah, not interested. I gave it to my Romulan tactical officer. It really is a fantastic ship. It's a big ship. I mean, it's a dreadnought. It's the size of a cruiser, but it's got the turning ability, almost, of an escort. And it combines a lot of the features of science ships with tactical escorts. The bridge officers, there's a position for a tactical commander, but you can also target enemy subsystems, like you can on a science ship. Well, anyway, we're talking on the live stream about Star Trek Online while Rita was busy blowing things up in the tanks. And she mentioned that one of the ships that she's always wanted, ultra rare ship, she's only ever seen 2 of them, is the Suluban cell ship. And yep, got one of those as well. This thing is ultra rare. I've only ever seen one of them before, and while I was levelling up a new Klingon engineering officer, one of these things popped out of a lockbox, so hey, hooray. There it is. It really is terrible. It's not very good at all. If you were flying this thing around at Lieutenant or Lieutenant Commander level, it wouldn't be too bad, but at Vice Admiral or Lieutenant General, no. Just no. It's novelty value only. It's the sort of thing that you ready up and go flying around in sector space when you want to impress the plebs, but it's absolutely useless as an actual serious combat vessel. The only unusual thing about it, aside from the looks, is that it has a lot of device slots. So you could carry a load of, I don't know, batteries, deploy some phaser turrets, that's about it. Other than the fact that hardly anybody has got one, there is really nothing special about this ship. One thing it does have is a pretty unique bridge. I've never seen this bridge model on anything else. It's a lot like the Undine ships. Well, it looks nothing like the Undine ships, but the Undine ships have unique bridges, and like the Undine ships, the bridge is all you get. You can't go wandering around the engineering deck or the crew deck. Go to the transporter pad, visit the shuttle bay. You can't do any of that on this ship. The bridge is literally, it's just the one room. That's all there is on the interior of this ship. But it's completely unique design. There isn't another ship in the game that has a bridge that looks like this. So for those of you who've never seen the bridge of the Suliban Cell ship in Star Trek Online, there you go. They do have some impressive interior design on some of these ships though. This is my first Vice Admiral, Starfleet Engineering Officer, and that is an Odyssey class cruiser. You see plenty of Odysseys around, but most people, while they've certainly seen them flying around, they've probably never seen the interior, and the bridge design on this thing is very, very impressive. It's absolutely huge. It's got its own transporter pad at the back, as well as the captain's ready room off to one side, but look at this. It's massive. It's like walking around inside a cathedral. The Klingon ships, particularly the cruisers, are particularly good for that as well. There we go, captain's chair. The bridge in the Odyssey has actually multiple level. There's another deck at the front. I'll pop down here and have a look. There it is. It's astonishing the level of detail that they've actually thrown into this sort of thing, and there's practically no reason for you to go wandering around the inside of your ship. It's almost entirely cosmetic. Captain's ready room. Let's have a look at the crew deck. Pop down to the crew deck and you've got the sick bay where your ship's chief medical officer lives, and there it is. Further along on the same deck you've got the ship's lounge. And as I said, there's almost no practical reason whatsoever for you to bother doing any of this. There are a couple of duty officer missions that you can pick up in these various parts of your ship, but there's absolutely nothing that you have to do. It's just a huge amount of detail that's gone into something that most people probably aren't even aware they could do in Star Trek Online. Further along on the same deck you've got the captain's quarters. 2 rooms, one ready room / lounge, and then in the annex at the back, the bedroom. Pop back to the turbo lift, down another deck, and you're in main engineering, where the chief engineer seems to spend all of her time doing tricorder scans on the warp core, because reasons. I don't know, it's an engineering thing. But then this got me thinking, because aside from the Suliban Cell ship and the Xindi Aquatic Dreadnought carrier, I have actually had another super rare ship for quite some time, and I'd completely forgotten about it. I had actually forgotten that my engineering admiral also has a Ferengi Marauder sitting in the shipyard. Again, this is a ship that you almost never see these days. It's not particularly good, but it's not bad either, and it's got something that no other ship in the game has. It's got a Darbo wheel on the bridge. If you're not into Star Trek, of course, you have no idea what a Darbo wheel is, but then again, if you're not into Star Trek, you probably stopped listening to me 5 minutes ago anyway. So anyway, what to talk about next? Well, one point that I've been itching to talk about in this week's Mingles with Jingles, after what's been going on this week, is to do with popularity on YouTube. A lot of people are constantly asking me the question, Jingles, what can I do to grow my YouTube channel? You know, what's your secret? How did you get so many subscribers? I really don't know. I just put videos up, stick a commentary on them. People seem to find them amusing or interesting, and the views come just by being yourself. So that's always been my advice to people. Just be yourself. If you are interesting, or if what you do is interesting, because what I do isn't always that interesting. I'm not that good a World of Tanks player, and I'm certainly not that good a War Thunder player, but I tend to talk the talk even if I can't walk the walk, so that's always been my thing. If you're new to World of Tanks or new to War Thunder, you can probably learn stuff from watching my videos, but experienced players, players who already know the basics, they're not going to learn anything from watching me. But hopefully I'm still amusing, and that's pretty much what people say. If you're already good at World of Tanks and you want to learn how to be better, don't watch me. You watch somebody like Circon or Quickie Baby, because they're really, really good players, far better than I am. People don't watch me to learn how to be better at a game. Once you're at a certain skill level, for people who are beginners, then yeah, sure, I can teach you new things. How to not suck on a basic level. But people watch me because, I'm stupid. And I say dumb shit. And I entertain. I'm an entertainer, I'm not really a gamer. And that's, that's my thing. So that might not necessarily be your thing. You might be a really, really good player. And so that's, that's what you bring to the table when you're putting your YouTube videos up. You shouldn't try to be like me. I'm not trying to be like anybody else. Just be yourself. If what you do is good enough, then the views will come. However, don't be too keen to get too big too fast, because popularity has a price. And I'm not talking about people in War Thunder zerging me just because they see me in a match. Because, that doesn't happen often. And I stopped worrying about it a long time ago. If it starts happening, I just quit out the match, or I troll them, or whatever. That's a non-issue. What I'm talking about is something that my friend Eddie has started to discover for himself, as his YouTube channel is growing as well. Eddie, you may know. Those of you who don't know, Eddie is my faithful but incompetent camera minion who accompanies me on my museum visits and messes up the camera work. Eddie's got his own YouTube channel. It's called The Oncoming Storm. He's a big Doctor Who fan. And every now and then I mention Eddie, and he gets a few more hundred subscribers every time I mention him. He's up to about 3,000 subscribers now, in fact just over 3,000, and he's starting to notice a phenomenon that I started to notice when I reached around about 5,000 subscribers, and something that all YouTubers have to put up with when they reach a certain number of subscribers. You see, when we first start putting these videos up, the best thing about it is responding to the comments in the video comment section. It really was the single best thing. And it's not the reason why I started putting videos up, but it's the reason that I continued to put videos up, because engaging with your subscribers is one of the best things about having a popular YouTube channel. Or it is at first. You see, when you put your first video up on YouTube, hardly anybody notices and hardly anybody cares. And so when somebody does notice your video and puts a nice comment on it, you absolutely treasure it. It really does make your day. And your first couple of subscribers tend to be the kind of people who just love what you do, and they keep coming back day after day after day, every time you upload a video, because they like what you do. And so every time a new video goes up, the same people keep coming back and talking to you about the video, telling you how much they enjoy what you do, and you end up engaging with them and having conversations with them, and it's really, really good. That doesn't last. And Eddie is starting to discover this for himself. You see, now that he's hit the magic 3,000 subscriber number, he's no longer being visited just by the people who know his channel and who come back every time he uploads a video because they like watching his videos and they like chatting with him in the comments. Once you reach a certain number of subscribers, YouTube starts featuring your videos in the what to watch next box that pops up when you finish watching a video on YouTube. So you start to get visitors to your channel who are there purely because they clicked a link after watching another video, rather than because they're interested in what you have to say. Now, that's a good thing, because it means your channel's going to get some exposure that it wouldn't get just by word of mouth alone. But it's also a bad thing, because now you're getting visitors to your channel who aren't invested in you at all. They don't know your style. They don't know you. They don't necessarily like you. They're not there because they're interested in what you have to say. They just clicked a link on a YouTube video. And this is where you start getting the arseholes. You turn the comments section of your videos into a cesspit. At some point, every successful YouTuber has had to deal with this, and if you plan on having a big YouTube channel, you're going to have to deal with it as well. It is going to happen. And not everybody can deal with it. Some of you may remember Ram JB, did a lot of War Thunder videos, and he ran into this brick wall as well. Once he reached a certain number of subscribers, he started getting attacked on a daily basis in the comments of his videos, and it nearly broke him. He felt the urge to respond individually to each and every troll comment that popped up in the comments of his videos, and you just can't do that. You absolutely cannot do that. That do not feed the trolls. It's a necessary part in the evolution of any YouTube channel. And it's not just YouTube. I hesitate to use the word art form, but there are parallels that you can draw with being an artist. When you first start painting, for example, the only people who give a shit are your family and friends, and they're all going to tell you how great you are, and they're going to offer nothing but encouragement. But then when the public at large start to view your stuff, you're going to get people who don't like what you do, and they can be vicious about it. And it will hurt, because that's their intention. Right? They mean to hurt you, but you absolutely cannot take it personally. And a lot of people struggle to get past this whole block of what used to be, for them, just a social thing. They put a video up on YouTube, they spend a lot of time and effort making the video, they're proud of what they've done, and a small group of friends, their subscribers, stop by every day to talk about what they've done and congratulate them on his work. And then the public at large start taking an interest, and suddenly what was the high point of your day, coming back and checking the comments of your videos and chatting with the people who like coming back every day and seeing what you do, becomes the thing that you dread doing. It becomes the worst part of your day. Just coming back and looking at the comments of the videos and just waiting for the personal attacks. You've got to learn to get past it. If you plan on having any kind of success, and it's not just YouTube, it's any art form, this is going to happen, and it's going to absolutely ruin, if you let it, what attracted you to doing it in the first place. Now, speaking from a personal perspective, I'm even bigger than that. I haven't seen any numbers. I wouldn't even know where to look for the numbers, but it wouldn't surprise me if I was the world's biggest World of Tanks. Maybe not so much War Thunder. There are other people who do far more War Thunder videos than I do, and probably have a much wider War Thunder audience, but certainly as far as World of Tanks is concerned, I'm probably number one. And so the amount of shit that I get, if I was to start taking it personally, I'd have to shoot myself. It's just unbelievable. Have a look at the comments of any of my videos, and I make it easy for them. I leave myself wide open. I get things wrong in my videos all the time. There used to be this one guy, I've forgotten his name. It's been so long since he actually commented on one of my videos. This was back when I had around about 15,000 subscribers. And he would post a comment on every video I uploaded, just listing stuff that I'd gotten wrong. And it wasn't necessarily stuff that I had actually gotten wrong. And I do get stuff wrong. It was like, oh, Jingles, that wasn't a KV1S, it was an IS2. Yeah, whatever. Not really important, but, you know, if you feel the need to comment, then go ahead. But he would also, you know, he'd get stuff wrong. he would point out stuff that I'd got wrong when I hadn't gotten it wrong. And I haven't seen a comment from this guy in a long time. I hope he's unsubscribed. I really do. But he's positively tame compared to some of the comments that I get on the videos. He wasn't posting comments to be mean or anything, you know, he was just your typical no personality, zero social skills internet geek. You know, the kind of person that watches The Big Bang Theory and totally fails to see what's so funny about Sheldon Cooper. You know, that's completely harmless. But, you know, when you get to the level of popularity that I've achieved, you start getting people who really, really get offended that you're not super amazingly good. There was somebody invited me to join the World of Tanks Labs forum, which is, I do recommend the forum, by the way. It's a fantastic resource. If you're serious about World of Tanks, you can learn a lot from the topics and discussions that go on there. It's the kind of place that's frequented by seriously good World of Tanks players. The only problem is that seriously good World of Tanks players absolutely hate me and everything I stand for. These are people who feel offended that somebody who's as good at World of Tanks as I am, i.e. not that good, has achieved this kind of popularity on YouTube. And the idea that people are watching my videos and enjoying them keeps them awake at night, plotting ways to ensure my downfall. Seriously, there are people on these forums who think somebody like Quickie Baby is a scrub. I mean, that's how elitist they are. So yeah, the World of Tanks Labs forums, I'll put a link in the video description. If you're even remotely serious about getting better at World of Tanks, you visit the forum, read the discussion threads. You can learn a lot. But do not, under any circumstances, if you value your sanity, don't mention my name when you're there, because the kind of feeding frenzy that will ensue from all the haters, well, it might be amusing, but don't tell them I put you up to it. But, you know, there is a flip side to all this as well. As long as you're at least trying to upload decent content, and you're not just, you know, throwing a shit at the wall and seeing how much of it sticks, and you've built up that loyal subscriber base, of that small core of subscribers right at the start, once you reach the level where you start to attract just random trolls and haters, well, first of all, that means you've made it. And secondly, you can always rely on that loyal core of subscribers that you started off with right at the beginning to stick up for you. You do not need to defend yourself against the trolls, because there are going to be plenty of people who are willing to do it for you. Just resist the urge to reply, and if what you're doing is any good, the people that were there from the start will stick up for you. Sometimes they can go a little too far though. My latest The Good, the Bad and the Ugly video, some poor guy, and obviously not a subscriber, he's obviously somebody who just clicked the recommended next video link on YouTube, and he left a completely innocent comment. I can't remember his name, and he literally just said something like, well, those were interesting battles, but I find your voice boring. Oh boy, did he regret saying that. 47 replies later from outraged subscribers. I think he was sorry he ever opened his mouth. Poor guy didn't even say anything particularly mean or nasty, he just didn't like my voice. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, as an example, Iron Maiden, British rock band from the 80s, recognised as being one of the most influential heavy metal bands of the 1980s, and yet I just don't like Bruce Dickinson's voice. I know I'm going to get lynched for saying it, and I recognise that he is a great singer, but there's something about his voice that just winds me up. It doesn't mean I hate him, it just means I don't like his voice. And this poor guy basically said exactly the same thing. 47 irate comments from subscribers later. You guys, you're so good to me. So, anyway, your typical Jingles story takes me half an hour to get to the point, and you already know what the point is. Don't be in too much of a rush. If you're thinking of starting your own YouTube channel, or you already have your own YouTube channel, you're desperate for subscribers, don't be too desperate to get too big too fast, because there is definitely a price for achieving popularity on YouTube. And it's the same if you achieve popularity in any public area, whether that be acting, singing, songwriting, art, whatever. There are going to be people who hate you and everything that you stand for no better reason than, well, who needs a reason? My mate Eddie despises Leonardo DiCaprio. There's just something about Leonardo DiCaprio that makes his teeth crawl. Leonardo DiCaprio has been in some amazing movies. Eddie will never watch any of them purely because DiCaprio's in them. I'm the same with Nicolas Cage and Miley Cyrus and One Direction, and actually there's no end to the number of people that I hate. But the difference is that I can't leave Miley Cyrus, Nicolas Cage and One Direction personal messages telling them how much I hate them and everything that they do, and that can and does happen on YouTube. And if you can't deal with that, you should probably think about doing something else, because it is going to happen as you gain more popularity. But on the plus side, you do at least have a successful YouTube channel. So, there's that. It does have its compensations. Well, anyway, that's it for this week, folks. As mentioned at the beginning of the video, at some point, I will be at Gamescom in Cologne this year. I'll be there on the 14th, 15th and 16th of August. I'm going with Circumflexes and Sir Foch, and I think Hi-Fi 15 is going to be there as well, so we all hope to see you there. As always, take care, enjoy playing whatever you're playing, and I'll catch you next time.